If you do this one thing every single week for the rest of your career, you are never going to have to apply for a new job ever again. Also, this is an iced coffee, not an espresso martini. Or is it? Hello, hi, my name is Emily Durham. I'm a careers coach, a careers content creator. Basically, consider me your internet friend who, to be honest, is always going to be a little too honest. So here's the thing, the job market, bad, scary, not good. Is it getting better? Probably not. And the tea has always been that up to 80% of jobs are actually filled in this like secret job market. They call it the underground job market. Basically, it's through referrals and through word of mouth. Most people who are getting jobs that you're seeing on LinkedIn posting that they got this job, that they got that, it's because they knew someone, they had a plug at the company, they were able to pull some strings. They found out about the job before it was posted, they interviewed for the job before it was even available, and boom. Suddenly, that bitch that you went to high school with is sitting in your dream job. But if you want to tap into this like underground, secretive little job market situation type of deal that's happening, this is what you need to be doing. Regardless of where you are in your career, even if you are still a student, I need you to do this. Every single week, I need you having a coffee chat with one person from the company that you want to work at. This can be your current employer, this can be another company. Before you freak out and say, Emily, that's a lot of work and I've heard this advice before, no, because if you know me, you know I'm not about to deliver you some bullshit shitty advice, okay? I'm not going to lie, it is a little bit time consuming, but you know what's very time consuming? Taking 40 minutes every day to apply for jobs for months on end without hearing back. So pick your struggle. Even if you have zero current connections, the easiest way to do this is to start with somebody you know. Maybe it's your family. Do you know anyone who works in this industry? Your friends, your professors, your peers. Ask someone to connect you to someone. If that takes you nowhere, maybe you're the only person in your social circle working in a given industry, go to LinkedIn and look up your ideal job title. Maybe it's a finance manager, senior marketing manager. Look up people with that job title at the companies you want to work at in your city and reach out to a bunch of them on LinkedIn. Expect that for every 10 to 12 messages you send, only one person is responding. It is what it is. Regardless of the path of how you're actually connecting with these people, what you're basically asking for is a 20-minute conversation centered on them. The focus is 1000% on them. People are much more likely to respond when you say stuff like this because, hello, we have egos. We love to talk about ourselves. As I sit here talking about myself into a camera, do you know what I mean? So when you get on the phone with this person, I want you to start off by introducing yourself and why you want to be on that call. I'm Emily, I'm a finance student, and I was looking to learn a little bit more about your career journey because I found your growth at KPMG to be fascinating. Can I hear a little bit more about you? They're already feeling buttered up. They're gonna share a little overview of their career journey, and you're gonna have 3 to maybe 5 questions prepared specifically for them. I saw you move from a senior analyst to a director over the course of 3 years. What were some of your key learnings? What were some of the biggest challenges that you faced? Any advice for someone like me starting off or transitioning or whatever it might be? Literally make the purpose of this conversation to absorb information from them. If you don't think you need information from this person, trust me, do this because the trick I'm gonna deliver at the end is gonna change your fucking life. You're gonna answer these questions, maybe they ask you some back, and at the end of the phone call, you are going to deliver a call to action. Now, if you did not vibe with this person or you feel like they're not aligned, it's okay to say thank you, I really appreciate this, you hang up, you never speak to them again. But if the conversation was valuable, you're gonna say 2 things. Thank you so much for your time, I would love for us to stay in touch, and is there anyone else in your network you would recommend I connect with? Do you wanna know how people build a network that gets them hired, that connects them to these hidden jobs? It's through doing this. The person on the phone might be like, yeah, sure, blah, 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 but they're not gonna go out of their way to hunt you down to do you a favor. After the call, a couple hours later, you're gonna wait. You're not gonna be a fucking weirdo about it. You're gonna wait. You're gonna send them an email. Thank you so much for your time. Again, I would love to stay in touch. Why don't we book a call about a month from now? And again, if there's anyone in your network that you think is a good fit for me to connect with, I would love to be connected. Typically, they're gonna say, yeah, you can talk to my colleague here. You can talk to this person. You're gonna follow that exact same recipe over and over and over again. And how you are never going to have to apply for another job is you're gonna have a Keepworm strategy. Let's say over the next couple months, you generate 10, maybe 15 people you've got in your network. That doesn't mean you need to be on the phone with these people every single week. If it feels appropriate and like you're having a high value conversation, book a call with them once every couple of months. But to be honest, it doesn't even need to be that deep for it to be valuable. Add them on LinkedIn, shoot them a message once every month and a half, ask how they're doing, follow up on something that they shared, send them an article, talk to them like they're your friend, obviously in a work appropriate way. When you're doing that, 2 things are working in your favor. Firstly, if there's ever a job at their company or in their network, you're already going to be top of mind because you've been reaching out to them on and off for several months. They know you're engaged and they know you're consistent consistent and reliable, which is more than a lot of people can say. But the biggest one is you're gonna keep track of job postings at their company and in their network. So when you see a job posted that you're interested in at the company they're working at, you're gonna reach back out, and it's not gonna feel weird because you've been doing that. Hey, how are you? I've noticed you guys are hiring for blah, blah, blah role. Do you happen to know who's recruiting for that position? Boom. They're gonna refer you or connect you to the role. You're not gonna like ask for a referral right out the gate. You're just gonna do that. You're also going to creep their connections on LinkedIn. And when you have a job posted at one of the companies their connections works at, you're gonna message them and say, hey, bit of a shot in the dark, but you happen to know anyone who works at this company? I'd love to learn more about this role. But chances are, if they like you and they see this message, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, my girl Susanna works there. I'll just shoot you her email. Oh my God, incredible. Another great way to expedite this is through networking events, but specifically networking events, not job search events. Career fairs do not hit like they used to, okay? Because of this competition, they're inundated with candidates. It's really hard to have high value conversations, but going to networking events in your industry is a more casual way to build relationships. You need to be playing the long game. And networking doesn't have to feel stuffy. It doesn't need to be corporate. You are basically creating allies and friends. That is literally it. And that, my friends, is a piece of advice I wish I had earlier in my career, because I applied for a bunch of jobs that I never heard back from, not realizing that somebody's friend actually is the person who got hired. And I could have been that friend if I was proactive enough to build real relationships. I don't really know how to end this video because that was like pretty short and sweet and snappy, and that's like the vibe over here. We just like to regurgitate information with an iced coffee in hand, but thank you for clicking on this video. If you have questions, things you want me to cover, let me know. Love ya.